Folks, thank you so much for coming to this session. I'm really excited to talk about, what I'm going to talk about, how legal AI is really different and why that's important, why legal AI is different from any generic AI. Just right before I actually get started, I got to thank our unicorn, visionary, and innovator partners. Check out these folks. I think some of them have really great products that will help your firm. My name is Andrew. If we haven't met before, I am a product designer over at Clio. I've spent my career making software easier to use. But today I want to talk about why in law, in our profession here, easy isn't always safe, and how we can design AI to be both powerful and trustworthy. And I want you to leave today this room with a framework that you can use, you can take home, take back to your workplaces to evaluate both AI tools from Clio, but also from other vendors. Now, before I actually get into the talk, I want to let all of you know a bit more about myself. Prior to Clio, I've been designing software for 13 years. 7 of them was with Clio. So I've been around for a long time. If we chatted in the past, it's probably about contacts or matters or what was previously known as Clio Duo, now Managed AI. If we chatted, thank you so much for spending your time with me previously. But before my life at Clio, I've worked on designing software in health insurance, in accounting, telecommunications, and Canadian government digital services. In all of these industries, stakes were high. These are not just, fun apps or toys. I've been in this space for a really long time where stakes are really high. Things like people's health, their well-being, finances, rights were all on the line with the interfaces I have built. And that taught me one thing, that good design isn't just about aesthetic. It's not just about that pretty iPhone or phone that you have in your pocket. Good design isn't just about usability. It is about responsibility. So good design for me, it's not just about usability, how easy something can be used, but it's about the responsible that a piece of software carries in helping many folks get important work done. And my career mantra has always been this statement on the screen here. Make it easy. Make software easy to use. Because easy unlocks adoption, for Clio. Easy accelerates work for all of you. And easy gets results. But AI challenges that mantra. Because when you make something too easy to use, people may stop thinking critically. So that's the point I want to underline is when something is way too easy, it can erode our ability for critical thinking. Now, I think many of you have heard this, but I do want to bring it in that in winter 2022, I remember sitting in my living room playing around on my computer. There's this chat thing called ChatGPT 3.5. It appeared, and lo and behold, 3 years later, it became a household name that everybody is using. It's a new interface for knowledge that suddenly appeared. Just type a question, get a polished answer, and it felt like magic. But just like show magic, it also blurred the line between confidence and truth. At first, it was really fun. I've got a 6-year-old at home, and we used to do a ton of bedtime stories. We would remix, Disney princesses into these fun 5-6 minute bedtime stories with no regards for copyright. It was awesome. Marketing blurbs, trivia answers, all of that. So fun with ChatGPT. But sometimes it got facts wrong while sounding completely certain. Now, if it's like a Disney princess, if Princess Elsa showed up in Mulan's world, it doesn't matter. You couldn't tell. My daughter couldn't tell unless you double checked. And most people didn't double check. And that's what I want to talk about in my intro today. And that's the paradox of ease. whoops, I forgot to click. But, in this case, it showed a faulty answer that looked legit, but it is not real. Easy is seductive. It makes you want to trust the output. But in law, the stakes are different. If you act on a wrong answer, the consequences are very real, both for you and the client. So in our world, easy cannot be the end goal. And here's what I mean. Ask a generic AI tool about the statute of limitations for personal injury in New York. It might confidently say 2 years. Sounds fine, right? But I bet some of you in the room knows that ain't it. The real answer is 3 years. Imagine citing that wrong number. Your client's case could be thrown out. That's how dangerous easy can be in law. It pushes us to act before we can verify when we're supposed to be doing it the other way around. AI pushes us to act before we verify because easy is a slippery slope. And here's a scale of that risk. Research shows, and that this is from the Legal Trends report this year, that 74% of hourly work could be automated by generative AI. If we let incorrect outputs, if we let incorrect answers drive action at that scale in a business, the consequence can multiply very quickly. Now let's hope that I haven't scared you all away. Nobody's leaving the room yet, which is really good. Let's not lose sight of the upside. Easy also unlocks incredible power. Imagine, having an AI tool scan thousands of discovery docs in seconds to surface relevant insights, something that could take weeks for a team of staff at your firm or at bigger firms, or drafting a first pass response for a prospect based on your prior style. That's pretty great, right? Saving you hours each week in doing that. Easy in here doesn't mean dangerous. It means leverage. Easy in this case, in our scenario here, it could mean leverage. It's not just hypothetical. 48% of firms with wide AI adoption reported a significant positive impact on revenue. And when used responsibly, AI isn't just about saving time. It's about growing your practice, growing your firm. So we're in this tension. Risk really high, but the potential is too great to ignore, as we've seen in media, in news, and conferences. But much of the conversation today is lawyers gotta double check everything. Y'all gotta double check before you use anything. That's true, but I do not believe that's enough. Now, I'm not asking to put more work on your plate. I'm actually thinking about putting more work on my plate, because builders of AI tools, we also have a very important duty to design, to build, to engineer with deep respect for legal work, honoring the care and tradition that it requires. My personal belief, and the belief at Clio, is that that responsibility must be shared. So it's quite contrary to this article that I've did a screen cap of. So now we live in this paradox. The same ease that creates danger also creates the possibility. Now the question is, how do we get the best of both worlds? At Clio, we believe, and I believe the answer lies in 4 principles. And this is going to be the entree of this talk that y'all will be spending some time on with me today. I'm going to talk about the 4 principles that my team uses at Clio to guide our Clio, our work, whether that's manage AI, grow AI, or the brand newly announced Clio work. These principles are not just for us. I have sort of rephrased them for all of you in this room today. And I'd love for all of you to take them away as the checklist for any tools, whether that's something from Clio or another vendor. So, first one is always back it up. Second one is show your work. Third one is no surprises. And the last one is leave a trail. So I see phones coming out. Don't worry. I will let y'all know that there's going to be a proper photo op of these 4 principles after I walk through them. And of course, what I'm going to do next is go through each of them one by one and then speak to how we have acted on these principles at Clio, so it's crystal clear for all of us how they can be used, how they can be implemented at all of your day-to-days. So let's start with the first one. Always back it up. All of you work in a system built on evidence. Every claim in court got to be supported. Every argument needs to be tied back to authority. Generic AI tools, on the other hand, will make things up with confidence, like we've talked about, a couple of minutes ago. And in law, that's not just inconvenient. It's not something that's annoying. It's malpractice waiting to happen. And that's why the first principle is always back it up. Answers without sources have no place in the legal world. So bold highlight, I think this is super important. Here's how we have demonstrated that in the Clio features, Clio tooling world. What you're looking at here is the document analyzer that we launched last year, and we spent a good couple of months this year polishing. And the number one piece of feedback that I've heard from many of you is, this thing gotta have citation. So we've got it baked into the core experience here. You see all these different numbers on here that on click, unlike chat where it links you out to a separate website, that might actually sometimes be a broken link that many of you might have experienced. We link it back to the original passage that was cited in this response. And we deliberately made sure that experience is simple, easy to show how we have backed up its response. Now, I can't talk about citation without talking about the hottest thing from the keynote earlier, which is Clio Work. We have taken that citation experience and extend that further. Instead of it just being a little pop-up that appears to check the original source, we've got half the screen dedicated to the authorities as cited, the cases as cited. So it's very, very clear what it used to give you that response. In fact, I was doing a demo earlier and the sources appeared before the actual response. So pretty proud of that. So first principle that I'd like to impart to all of you today is always back it up. When you evaluate a tool, ask yourself, ask the tool, ask the person demoing the tool, can I immediately verify the sources behind this answer? Don't settle for vague references or citations you can't check. Don't let those little ones just be there and don't click it. You gotta click them, you gotta verify. And the tool needs to make those apparent, easy to find so that you can trace back to things easily. A trustworthy AI tool should let you click straight into the underlying material and make the underlying material very prominent as a part of the user experience. If you can't quickly confirm where the answer is coming from, the tool's probably not that safe and probably not good enough to be a part of your tech stack. And keep this in mind. Growing firms are nearly 3 times as likely to adopt AI and automation as shrinking firms. Verification isn't just a risk mitigation play, it's tied to your competitiveness. So also consider this, lawyers spend almost 2 hours a day just looking for information. Backing it up isn't just about safety, it's about reclaiming those hours meaningfully. So our second principle here is show your work. In legal practice, the reasoning behind an answer is often just as important as the answer itself. Judges expect to see legal basis for your position. Clients expect clarity on how you've reached a particular advice. And working with colleagues, they need to follow your logic when collaborating. If AI only gives you an outcome or an output without showing the path to get there, you don't know if the right stuff, the right thinking, the right rules has been applied. The right jurisdictions or key steps might have been skipped. So show your work ensures that the reason is transparent before you act on it. So similar to the last one, I'm going to walk through some clear examples of how we've demonstrated what it means to show your work. So we've got the Ask a Question feature here. Last year, this was called Ask a Duo. But the idea behind this feature is you're able to ask questions against your firm data. It's going to be able to give you a response about how your firm's doing, information in the firm, task matters, so on and so forth. Last year, when this technology was novel, it just returned a response. And sometimes it got stuff wrong. What we've done this year is we have deliberately built in a multi-step thinking process so that you know what it is doing. So it's those 4 gray lines of text to the left of the diamond or to the right of the diamond. And we want to make sure that we're showing these steps so that you can trust which part of Clio Manage that it is looking at to get that data. And if you have not seen this yet in the product lab, this was briefly teased in the keynote this morning. My team would be very excited to show this to you. This is the brand new date extraction capability that you can drop in a piece of document with dates inside, and it's going to be able to pull in dates into calendar events so that you can add them to your firm calendar. But in terms of our principle of showing your work, this is all about showing what it looked at in the document, that you can scroll down the list, see which passage it looked at to create this particular event, so that you can trust it, that it's not making things up. Everything is tied back to its source. So I talked about this example of being able to trace back to links. I'd say having a link is not enough, being able to have this split screen experience so you can easily, by default, find the source. This is vitally important to making sure that what you've got is correct. So, second principle here, show your work. And the checkbox here is, does this tool show the reasoning path, what it did up front? It should make its logic transparent, not just the final result. If you only see an output and outcome without the underlying steps, you are left guessing. And tools that force you to trust a black box cannot be relied on. So, super important. Do not bet on black boxes. And here's why it matters. Sort of coming back to the legal trends report, nearly half of the legal professionals believe AI will improve efficiency, help them handle more work. That efficiency can only materialize if lawyers can trust the steps. Transparency is what unlocks the time savings. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back and revisit a lot of its work. And instead of saving time, you're doubling your time. Okay, so the third one, tied very closely with our second principle, show your work. In law, surprises are rarely good news, right? You do not want surprises in your work. A missed deadline, a filing you didn't authorize, a calendar event that just suddenly appeared as you're coming back from lunch. No, that's not fun. Each one of these surprises could jeopardize, at worst, your workday, but at worst, a case, a client's trust. AI tools that act silently in the background may look and sound efficient, on paper, but in practice, they can blindside you. And that's not good. No surprises, our third principle here, means that lawyers, all of you in this room today, remains in control every step of the way. So let me show all of you how we've acted on this principle. So as a part of Manage AI, we've got this incredible automated billing feature that will automate how bills get generated, how details get filled in with AI. What we've done here is when all of you activate this feature in your account, we are crystal clear with the rules that we'll operate by. And at any point in time, you can see how that work is done, and you can go and change these rules. We made sure that the parts that are important are extremely deterministic, and you have the ability to fully control how the AI tooling behaves. And let's not forget about our mobile app. The expense autofill feature does the exact same thing. You know exactly what our AI has done for you. So for example, you drop a receipt in, we will show you which field. So in the blue boxes in the bottom right corner there, we show you what the AI has done to fill in these information. So you're not guessing like, hey, did the AI touch this field or did I do this? No, we make it really clear what the AI has done. So there's never any surprises, that you don't ever submit something, you don't ever send something that you didn't realize the AI has touched. And to tease something that is coming up inside Grow, this is the Grow AI tool happening. I think the screenshot is a little bit harder to see, but if you look in the top left corner, there's a card there that very prominently tells you what the AI is doing. So in here, I'm just going to narrate for the folks at the back of the room. It's saying, following up to get 1 form submitted, and then 1 appointment schedule. Last follow-ups was sent on this date. So we make it crystal clear what it is doing. So there will never be moments where you're blindsided. So, third principles, no surprises. And the checkbox here to consider is, will this tool explain what it's doing as it acts? You should see checks and assumption as they happen, so you're never blindsided. If an AI tool operates silently in the background, that's at least a red flag. It erodes your control and accountability. So that's super important. All of you should be in control or feel you're in control. And remember this, again from the Legal Trends Report, missed deadline is the #1 cause of malpractice claims against lawyers. So no surprise, the principle, our third principle of no surprise, isn't just about transparency. It's about protecting your license while saving time. Okay, on to the last principle we've got here, leave a trail. Accountability in all of your work depends on a record. Every filing, every motion, every conversation is documented, so it can be reviewed later on if it's checked or if it's challenged. If AI tools produces work that you can't trace, it doesn't leave evidence of what it's done, you're left exposed. You can't defend it, correct it, or learn from it. Leave a trail is very much the opposite side of the coin for no surprises, our third principle. This is about ensuring that every AI action has a record somewhere, so accountability and trust are always preserved. So let me give you an example. I really love the automated billing capability. As I talked about, it follows a set of rules. It generates invoices for you at a set cadence in however ways that you would like. But we don't want that to just be something that happens in the background. You completely forget about it. If you need to check its work, you can always go over to the job status tab that I think my team can show you later on. And that's where you can see statuses of when invoices are sent, along with timestamps, who did it, so that you can always trace what's been done in the last 2 days, 7 days, so on and so forth. And this is something that already exists, but we're continuing to improve on, is the AI event log. This is where you can see everyone at your firm who has used some type of AI capability to generate some type of artifact, whether that's a note, time entry, calendar event, so on and so forth. Eventually, as our AI capabilities get more automated and smarter, that's going to show up in this view as well. And we think this is going to be a great platform for y'all to be able to know what's happening at your firm. And this is only going to get more interactive and more valuable over time. Our last principle, leave a trail. Will this tool leave me a trail I can audit later? A proper event log is your safety net, letting you review, defend, or correct an AI's action. And if a tool can't show you what it did after the fact, it undermines all of your ability to stay accountable. And zooming out, here's a bigger picture. Firms that adopt AI automation are 3 times more likely to grow than those that don't. Leaving a trail isn't just about safeguarding trust. It enables scalable, efficient work that drives real, meaningful growth. So here's the recap. Awesome. I love the cameras coming out. Generic AI gives unsupported answers. So that's a column on the right. Hides its logic, acts silently, and leaves no trail. We believe that good legal AI, by contrast, cites its source, shows reasoning, avoids surprises, and records a log or show a trail. This on the screen here is your evaluation framework. Hold every vendor accountable to it. So let's make it real. Picture a solo lawyer juggling cases and with these principles in place. Cited answers cuts hours of research. Transparent logic ensures that the deadlines created are right. And clear scheduling, clear logic prevents surprise errors. And of course, having an event log provides confidence and oversight. And the human outcome, the business outcome, more clients served, less stressed, and greater peace of mind. And this isn't just in theory. Nearly half of the legal profession, the legal world, reported that using AI has improved work-life balance, job satisfaction, and reduced stress. And the human outcome in all of this, for us, means more clients served. That's amazing. So, about to wrap here. I've got 2.5 minutes. I'm going to meaningfully, close this off. I'm going to bring it back to my world for a sec before I bring it back to yours. In my profession, UX, standing for user experience, has long been about ease. Remember, my mantra is make it easy. But with AI, my world's been disrupted and revolutionized as well because ease alone can mislead. So in my world as a product designer at Clio, user experience has got to be ease plus transparency plus trust. And as I like to say to my team, my colleagues, good design makes truth usable. Legal AI built on the 4 principles that we talked about today gives all of you here superpowers. It frees you from administrative burdens and expands access to justice. It creates time for advocacy and true client care. And that's the future that we're really passionate about designing. One that does not just make law easier, but it makes justice possible. And the momentum is real. It ain't a Kool-Aid. Lawyers are adopting AI at a faster rate than other industries. And in a field known for, slower adoption, that's monumental. And it makes good, responsible software design work all more urgent. Okay, so to close, one more photo op. Remember the 4 principles. Always back it up, show your work, no surprises, leave a trail. I've got a minute left, so I'm going to go fast. And that responsibility doesn't fall only on all of you in this room. It also falls on us at Clio and also the legal tech industry as a whole, as builders of AI. We have to design with deep respect for the care and tradition of legal work. That accountability is shared. Because when we design AI tooling this way, we don't just make law easier, we make justice possible. And that is the new standard we should all expect. Okay, so now I'm closing out. I talked a lot about exciting things, a lot of products, and a lot of announcement. Please make sure that you come hang out, come visit me in the Clio product lab. Happy to talk more about the 4 principles. Happy to dive into how we show these 4 principles in our various products release. And with 14 seconds left, that's the end of my presentation. My name is Andrew. Please find me in the product lab. We'll come hang out. We'll grab a coffee.